Welcome back to ABCGH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the intricate web of drama unfolding in Port Charles, where relationships are tested, secrets are revealed, and danger lurks around every corner. The landscape of Port Charles is shifting dramatically as Harrison Chase finds himself at a moral crossroads. After making the shocking discovery that Dante Falconeri is the biological father of Brooklyn Quartermain's teenage pregnancy, Chase is wrestling with his conscience. The weight of this revelation has left him contemplating whether to bring this life-altering truth to Dante's attention. The ethical dilemma is palpable. Does one man's right to know about his child outweigh the potential chaos such a revelation might unleash? Brooklyn, meanwhile, is likely entering a state of panic, fearful that her carefully constructed life might crumble around her if this secret escapes. Drew's journey continues to be fraught with challenges, yet a silver lining appears on his horizon. An unexpected alliance is forming that could potentially provide him with a powerful collaborator. However, in the unpredictable world of Port Charles, even the most promising partnerships can transform into devastating betrayals. The question remains whether this new alliance will serve as Drew's salvation or ultimately lead to his downfall. The chess pieces are moving, and Drew finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. Nina Reeves has approached Willow Corinthos with what appears to be an enticing proposition. The nature of this offer remains shrouded in mystery, but its implications could be far-reaching. Nina herself seems to be battling internal reservations about her proposal, suggesting it may be connected to her larger scheme against Drew. This calculated move places Willow at a crossroads, forcing her to decide whether to accept Nina's tempting offer or reject it outright. The tension between Nina's ambition and her conscience creates a fascinating psychological struggle that may determine the fate of multiple Port Charles residents. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Baldwin and Lucky Spencer are engaged in heartfelt conversations about their romantic relationship, exploring the possibility of rekindling their once passionate connection. Their history is rich with both beautiful moments and painful memories, creating a complex foundation for any potential reconciliation. As they navigate these emotional waters, Alexis Davis receives an unexpected visitor whose identity remains unknown. This surprise encounter could potentially be connected to Sidwell's elaborate frame-up scheme that's gradually taking shape in the shadows of Port Charles. Sonny Corinthos, the long-standing power player of Port Charles, has been hit with devastating news that has shaken his normally unflappable demeanor. The nature of this terrible development remains unclear. It could be related to his health, suggesting a possible medical crisis, or it might indicate another calculated attack from one of his numerous enemies. Sonny's vulnerability in this moment creates a rare opportunity for his adversaries and a cause for concern among his allies. In a parallel storyline, Jocelyn Jacks experiences a profound wake-up call during her WSB training. This eye-opening moment serves as a stark reminder of the dangerous and unpredictable world she's choosing to enter. Despite this sobering reality check, Jocelyn's determination remains unwavering, suggesting she possesses the resilience necessary to thrive in this challenging environment. Her journey from a privileged teenager to a potential WSB agent represents one of the most dramatic character evolutions in recent Port Charles history. The aftermath of Lucas Jones' Miami escapade continues to unfold in embarrassing fashion. After becoming intoxicated and making advances toward Marco, Lucas awakens with both a physical hangover and emotional humiliation. However, Marco may offer reassurance that nothing inappropriate occurred, explaining that he requested Lucas' room key merely to ensure his safe return. This moment of vulnerability for Lucas could potentially lead to deeper character development or even a meaningful connection with Marco, depending on how events unfold. Sasha Gilmore Corbin finds herself in a precarious position as she prepares to reveal something significant to Jason Morgan, a confession that will likely displease him. The revelation appears to involve her profitable arrangement with Jen Sidwell, a development that may prompt Jason to issue a stern warning to Sidwell. This interaction highlights the complex web of business relationships and potential conflicts that define the economic landscape of Port Charles. The tension between Lulu and Charlotte Cassadine continues to escalate. Following a shocking moment when Lulu discovers Charlotte has disappeared without her knowledge, a confrontation seems inevitable. This mother-daughter relationship, already strained by years of separation and complicated circumstances, faces new challenges as they attempt to rebuild their bond. The clash represents the difficult reality of re-establishing parental authority with a child who has grown accustomed to independence. In Jack Brennan's Suite, a potentially fatal crisis was narrowly averted when Carly Spencer almost consumed poisoned champagne, the result of Valentine Cassadine's botched revenge plot. After Brennan's life-saving intervention, his focus shifts to ensuring Valentine faces consequences for this dangerous mistake. Simultaneously, Anna Devane pieces together the evidence and recognizes Valentine's continued troublemaking, adding another layer of complication to their already complex relationship. Valentine's subsequent sharing of information raises questions about his motives and next moves in this dangerous game of revenge and counter-revenge that continues to endanger multiple Port Charles residents. Welcome to the ever-evolving drama of Port Charles, where today's allies may become tomorrow's enemies, and where secrets never stay buried for long. Next, we will learn about the issue that's brewing between Portia Robinson and Curtis Ashford, as another deception threatens to unravel their already fragile marriage. Could love be enough to heal the wounds between Curtis and Portia, or will this latest deception be the final straw? Their marriage began on shaky ground, with Portia's devastating secret about Trina's paternity nearly destroying their relationship before it truly started. Though Curtis eventually found it in his heart to forgive her, the journey was filled with heartache and emotional turmoil. Now, history seems to be repeating itself as Portia once again chooses secrecy over honesty, potentially proving to Curtis that old habits die hard, that she will always prioritize her own judgment over transparency in their relationship. The weight of her deception is becoming increasingly difficult for Portia to bear. While she attempts to justify her actions as necessary, her conscience knows better. She's treading dangerous territory, especially after working tirelessly to rebuild the trust that was so severely damaged. The psychological burden of keeping yet another secret from Curtis leaves her constantly anxious, perpetually fearing that the truth will emerge from an unexpected source. As days pass, Portia finds herself at a crossroads, contemplating whether to confess before circumstances force the revelation. But the question haunting her is whether coming clean now would simply be too late to salvage what remains of Curtis's trust. Despite her genuine intentions, Portia's actions exemplify how the path to destruction is often paved with good intentions. Her medical ethics are being compromised by personal interests, creating a dangerous precedent in both her professional and private life. The psychological complexity of her situation reveals a woman torn between protecting her career and honoring her marriage vows, a conflict that manifests in increasingly problematic decisions that could cost her everything she holds dear. Curtis continues to grapple with the fractured relationship between himself and Drew Quartermaine. The once strong friendship has deteriorated to the point where Curtis maintains emotional distance, unable to fully extend forgiveness to his former confidant. The betrayal cut deep, leaving scars that have yet to heal properly. This estrangement represents more than just a personal loss for Curtis, it symbolizes his growing disillusionment with those he once trusted implicitly, further complicating his ability to fully embrace vulnerability in any relationship. Meanwhile, Portia has secretly formed an alliance with Drew that could ultimately devastate her marriage. Their clandestine arrangement involves Portia helping to repair Drew's tarnished image and mending his relationship with Curtis, all without her husband's knowledge or consent. This backroom deal serves Portia's self-interest primarily, as she desperately tries to keep her own workplace indiscretions concealed. The irony is palpable. In attempting to fix one relationship, she risks destroying another far more important one. The foundation of trust that Portia has worked so diligently to rebuild with Curtis now stands in serious jeopardy. After the revelation about Trina's paternity nearly destroyed them, Curtis made it abundantly clear that honesty represents his non-negotiable core value. Yet, despite understanding this fundamental aspect of her husband's character, Portia consciously chooses deception again. This pattern of behavior suggests deeper issues within Portia's psychological makeup, perhaps an inability to trust the truth will yield the outcomes she desires, or a fundamental belief that she knows better than those around her what's best for everyone involved. As guilt increasingly consumes her, Portia finds herself wrestling with her conscience daily. The emotional toll of maintaining her facade grows heavier with each passing moment. She experiences flashbacks to the previous crisis that almost ended her marriage, recognizing the dangerous parallel between then and now. The psychological pressure manifests physically: sleepless nights, distraction during critical medical procedures, and a constant state of hypervigilance around Curtis, fearing she might inadvertently reveal her secret. This internal conflict creates a palpable tension that threatens to unravel not just her marriage but her entire sense of self. Dr. Robinson's professional judgment appears increasingly compromised by her personal agenda. As a physician sworn to ethical conduct, her behind-the-scenes manipulation represents a concerning blurring of boundaries. Hospital colleagues have begun noticing her distracted demeanor and questionable decision-making, potentially putting patient care at risk. This deterioration of professional standards mirrors the erosion of her personal integrity, creating a dangerous downward spiral that could impact every aspect of her life. The arrangement between Portia and Drew carries significant risks beyond just her marriage. Drew's own reputation hangs in the balance, and should their scheme be exposed, both could face serious professional and personal consequences. The web of deception grows more complex with each passing day, entangling additional parties and creating potential collateral damage that extends far beyond the original participants. This expanding circle of secrecy increases the likelihood of exposure exponentially, as more individuals become unwittingly involved in their machinations. Will Portia and Curtis's love prove resilient enough to weather yet another storm of dishonesty? The question looms large over Port Charles as these two characters navigate the treacherous waters of trust, betrayal, and redemption. Their story serves as a poignant reminder that relationships built on shaky foundations require constant maintenance and unwavering commitment to truth, elements that seem increasingly absent in Portia's approach to her marriage. As viewers, we're left wondering whether some bridges, once burned, can ever truly be rebuilt, or if certain betrayals permanently alter the landscape of love. Next, we will learn about the issue surrounding Lois Chiarullo's precarious position in Port Charles and the potential fallout from her deceptive actions regarding an adoption scheme that's about to unravel. The beloved character Lois Chiarullo might soon be making an exit from Port Charles as her carefully constructed deception begins to crumble around her. Longtime viewers who have enjoyed her recent return may need to prepare for her departure, as the consequences of her actions appear to be catching up with her. Her scheme involving Giovanni Gio Palmieri's identity could prove to be the final straw that forces her to leave town before completely destroying her relationships with those she holds dear. However, as with many soap opera departures, this may not necessarily be the last we see of Lois. Dramatic comebacks are always possible once the initial storm has passed. The tensions between Lois and the Quartermaine family are reaching a breaking point. Tracy Quartermaine, who has historically had little patience for deception, will likely take swift action if Lois' schemes threaten the family's business interests or social standing. Tracy's protective nature toward the Quartermaine legacy makes her a formidable opponent for anyone who crosses the family, and Lois may soon find herself directly in Tracy's crosshairs. The family dynamics are further complicated by Lois' strained relationship with Ned, who has made it increasingly clear that his loyalty doesn't automatically lie with his ex-wife. Olivia Falconeri's position in this developing drama adds another layer of complexity. With her connections to multiple parties involved, Olivia could emerge as either an unexpected ally for Lois or become yet another obstacle in her path to redemption. The intricate web of relationships in Port Charles means that alliances shift quickly, and Lois may discover support from surprising sources, or face opposition from those she once considered friends. These shifting allegiances will play a crucial role in determining whether Lois can weather this storm or if she'll be forced to retreat from Port Charles altogether. The revelation of Lois' deception threatens to destabilize not only her personal relationships but also her professional standing. Her involvement with deception could be jeopardized as her credibility comes into question. The business implications extend beyond just Lois herself, potentially affecting partnerships and deals that rely on trust and transparency. As news of her schemes spreads throughout Port Charles, the ripple effects could impact numerous storylines and characters connected to her professional endeavors. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine finds herself at the center of this emotional maelstrom. Already navigating significant life challenges, the discovery of her mother's deception regarding her baby's adoption arrangement could push Brooke Lynn to her breaking point. The mother-daughter relationship, which has already weathered numerous storms, faces perhaps its greatest test yet. Brooke Lynn's reaction to learning the full extent of her mother's machinations will be pivotal in determining whether any reconciliation is possible or if the damage is irreparable. The situation becomes even more volatile when considering the potential involvement of Sonny Corinthos. Lois' secret could disrupt the already delicate alliance with the powerful mobster, adding dangerous complications to her predicament. Sonny's reaction to being manipulated or deceived could have serious consequences for Lois' safety and standing in Port Charles. The intersection of family drama with Sonny's business interests has historically created explosive storylines on General Hospital, and this situation appears primed to follow that pattern. Lois' motivations for orchestrating the adoption scheme were initially well-intentioned from her perspective. She believed she was protecting her grandchild while also looking out for Brooke Lynn's best interests. The tragic irony lies in how her protective instincts led her to deceptive actions that now threaten to destroy the very relationships she sought to preserve. As the truth emerges, viewers will witness Lois grappling with the unintended consequences of her choices and possibly experiencing profound regret for the path she chose. The unraveling of Lois' deception showcases a classic soap opera theme of secrets inevitably coming to light. Despite her careful planning and manipulation, the truth has begun to emerge piece by piece. This storyline reinforces the narrative principle that in Port Charles, as in life, deceptions rarely remain hidden permanently. The dramatic tension builds as viewers anticipate the moment when all parties involved finally learn the complete truth, setting the stage for emotional confrontations and potential character departures that will reshape the Port Charles landscape.